So, hey everybody, how are you guys doing? I hope everybody's having a really good week so far. Well, at least good Monday, right? So we are doing organized chaos this week, which I'm super excited about. Organization is my favorite. The chaos part, it's definitely there. But we have Megan and Shakoya who are going to come speak with us today. I'll be speaking at the end about some organizational tips that you can use on your business. Shakoya is going to be talking about passion planners with us today, and she's going to be able to explain it way better than I can. I'm so excited to hear her speak. And Megan is going to talk to us about everyday organization and how that can help you save time, how it can help you on a day to day and really just improve your everyday. So I'll go ahead and let Shakoya take it.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Good, good. So my name is Shakoya. I'm going to be here talking to you about use planners. I wasn't really a big planner person, but after having this planner, I'm definitely have been more open. I've been more able to achieve my goals and get through everything. It's easier for me to show you some of the pictures from the website as I go through it. So that's why I'm sharing my screen with you, just so I can give you a little bit more of an understanding and how the inside of the planner looks. And I'm also going to repost the coupon code that I got from Passion Planner. They were gracious enough to give me one, so that if you're interested in buying one after this, then you'll be more than welcome to do so. So at the beginning of the planner, there's a whole section of instructions that tells you pretty much how to do a SMART goal. Make sure that it has time restrictions on it and all that good little stuff. And then you start to the month plan. So this is how the month looks in the planner. I love it because when you're looking at it from the month version, at the very bottom, you're going to see business goals versus personal goals. This has really, really, really helped me distinguish between the two. And it's also given me a really big insight on making sure that I'm creating balance in my life. So I have a list of personal goals that I want to achieve for the month, and I have a list of business goals that I want to achieve for the month. The Passion Planner breaks it down where you have your top priorities at the top of that list. Your priorities are second, and then any plans that you may have that are like errands to run, if you want to go visit somebody, trip out of town, birthday, you have all of that at the bottom. At the very bottom on the opposite side of that page, which is going to be to your right, there's a big section of just open white paper. That's really good for me as I create my affirmations for the month through sitting down and planning the month out. So that helps me to kind of jot down notes, figure out what my affirmations need to be for that month. So my affirmations have a direct relationship to what my goals and everything are for the month. And a lot of times we'll put our social life on the back burner. This has given me the opportunity to look down and look at my entire month and say, hey, am I spending enough time with my family and my friends? Am I giving myself some me time? I'm married, so it's important for me to make sure that I'm still penciling in date nights and things like that. So on this portion of the planner, you want to hit your big goals. So what do you want the end of your month to look like? If it was already December and it was at the end of December, how would you want December to look for you at the end of the month? This is going to help you get those big ideas out of you. And then when you move to the weekly, which is my favorite part, when you move to the weekly is going to force you to break down those big goals into daily tasks. And in order for me to make sure that I am achieving my weekly goals, I have to achieve my daily goals. And then also your personal goals. I know for me, I eat out way too often. So making sure that I'm staying on top of cooking my meals, eating from home on particular days and things like that. This really keeps me organized at the end of the day because I know I'm coming back to my desk where I work. I lay my planner out on my desk for that week. And when I sit down the next morning, I look back and I congratulate myself on the things that I did accomplish the day before, to not only boost my self-confidence, but to also know, okay, I got those things done. What's the next step that I need to do? And then I look at what I planned for myself today, and I look back on what I may have missed the day before and where I can pencil it in for today, so I can make sure I can stay on course. This planner has become one of my biggest tools that I use to make sure that I'm accomplishing my business goals as well as my personal goals. Every Sunday morning, I wake up and I'm up before everyone else is so I can have my quiet time. I set my space. So whatever that means for you to do, that's what you do. Aiming for it at the end of the day and at the end of each week, I get so much more accomplished versus if I be like, I'm not going to do the planner this week. I'm just going to let it go and do whatever I need to do this week. This really keeps me focused. It keeps me engaged, and it keeps me on top of myself. It's more of an accountability tool for me than anything else. And it also shows me that I have time to do it because you're going to make those things priority. So you're going to work on making sure that you are doing what you say you want to do in that day. And that's pretty much it as far as the passion planner. Does anybody have any questions or anything for me?
Hi, Sequoia. I'm Kelly.
Yes.
I
Hi.
want to say I really like that you have monthly affirmations. I tend to, have sometimes a new affirmation every day or just whatever comes to my mind. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so tell me, how does having a monthly affirmation for you differ than just, creating one every day or finding one to use every day?
So having monthly affirmations for me has it creates a time and place where all of my goals are connected to my monthly affirmations. So my affirmations have a direct relationship with my goals. So when I say my affirmations, it's a mental check for me, reminding me this is what my goals are for this month. So one of my affirmations for this month is that I'm going to be a better me physically by the end of the year. So when I say that, that means I need to get up every morning, make the effort to work out, make the effort to eat right every day, make the mental switch to do that. So it's a real direct relationship to my current goal and what my affirmation is going to be.
Hey, Shakoya, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Tanae. I'm driving right now, so I have my video off.
It's
But
okay.
one of the things that I struggle with, the reason I haven't really kept a planner is because I struggle with the consistency in it. I know you said on Sunday mornings is your time for you to really like plan out your week or you know what I'm saying, or your month. But throughout the week, what's your process of like, I don't know, wanting to keep doing it?
Setting out my planner and looking at my actual daily task every day makes me accountable for me because I don't want to sit down in my planner the next morning and say I didn't get anything on my planner done. I didn't do what I was supposed to do yesterday. That's going to set me back a whole day of information. I have an issue with, I'm working on my commitment to my goals and to myself as well. These planners come undated as well as dated. So for me, when I first bought the planner, I got an undated one because I knew I was working on my consistency. So it's not like you use the planner 2 months and then you throw it away because it's already dated. Get yourself a undated one. That way you can have the planner as long as you want to. And when you start really sitting down and getting used to the planner and really start using it, you'll use it to its fullest capacity without having to throw it away.
Okay.
That's a really good idea. I never thought about something like that.
Yeah, it was perfect for me to have it undated.
I think that's what I'm going to do. Get one that's undated, because I'm like, man, like I end up throwing it away, buying a new one at the first of the year, all happy, and I'm like, okay, now I'm throw it away.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Don't worry about that. I get the undated one. The next one I'll get is the undated one, like this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely step into that this year or next year coming up.
That's good. That's good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shakoya. We'll have Meagan go ahead and step in for her organization tips that she's got for us.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hi.
I mean, to keep the ball rolling, I'm going to kind of play off of what Shakoya was talking about. I know I'm not so well with planners myself. Things kind of have to be fun for me to keep a little interest. So, in theme of what I'm talking about, I know personally, if I do, do what I'm supposed to with my planner, I am a visual person. I like to have colorful things, color coordination, sticky notes, all that little extra stuff. It makes it a little more fun for me when I'm sitting down and trying to get my life together. So organization is one of those things, like you have to kind of know what type of person you are, what type of learner you are that's going to work best for you. There's visual organization. For those people who like to see things, they like to be able to cross things off their list. If you need to see a calendar on your wall with giant yellow boxes, like do this today, this is due tomorrow. Yeah, so I like, personally, I love calendars. I like a calendar on the wall as kind of a reminder when I'm walking in the house. I like to put it in a central area, usually like my kitchen, somewhere where I spend a lot of time, so that it's a constant visual reminder to what I need to do, what's coming up. And that way it's like that constant reminder, so I can never say I forgot. Some people are more tech savvy, so they can put things in their calendar in their phone because they're always on their phone, or it's just easier if you handle a lot of business on your phone, so it's access at all times for you. Also, with having calendars on your phone, people set alarms for things. I'm also an alarm person. I mean, I like to have a reminder, get the most annoying ringtone to make sure you get up and do it. You don't hit that ignore. Some people just function better that way. It's kind of like you got to see what works for you. If you don't know, then try all the ways until you figure it out. I also like to make things fun, like I said previously. So whatever that is for you, if you like to doodle, get your dry erase board calendar. You can draw little pictures. Might help you stay more organized, so you know what you got coming up. Also, who has a junk drawer in their house? Everybody raise their hands. So when I'm unorganized, I feel like my brain is a junk drawer. Like, it's full of stuff that I need, but I can't find it when I need it. So whenever we clean out that junk drawer, we know that we have candles. Well, I was looking for that birthday candle, or I was looking for that lighter, or I was looking for those toothpicks, or whatever it may be, something that we needed, but we probably bought 3 or 4 times over because it was pushed back in the junk drawer. Your business is kind of like that. We buy things repeatedly because we're not seeing what we already have and can be put to use, which is a loss of money, which I'm sure no business owner wants. Keeping those things organized is like a visual inventory. You can see what you have been using more of what you haven't been using more of. Um, and those things that you do have kind of left over or not getting used as much, I feel like can kind of help promote your creativity, because then you're like, well, how can I use this to come up with another idea, or implement it in something new? Kind of helps you become more creative, which also helps you have more income, which is a great thing. Also, let's see. I don't know if you guys work from home or actually like in an office or what may have you. I used to be a baker, so I would have tons of supplies, tons of things. I would catch myself buying things over and over. Um, Things aren't in my face. I forget that I have them. I'm not using them. So I had to find that clear storage, shelving, those type of things in my face worked best for me. Um, I know some people work better with baskets, bins, and all types of things like that. And thanks to the internet, we have TikTok and Pinterest and all these other things that can give us inspiration. It's not as overwhelming as I think we like to think it is. It's also not as expensive. You hit up the Dollar Tree, they got all the things I need. Um, let's see. Also, does anyone have any questions yet? I feel like I might be.
You're good.
No, you're good.
Okay. Um, Also, I know when my life is organized, whether it's in business or my home life, my mind is more at ease. I can create more. I have clearer thoughts. I do have the time to write down and do those calendar organization or any type. Organizing is easy once you start. That's all I'll say. Everything has a place. You put it in its place. It makes everything a lot easier. The chaos comes into play when we don't have places to put things. Um, and then that unfolded pile turns into like a mountain of clothes. That stack of mail just turns into like a small bonfire. So that's why you have to kind of set those limitations for yourself and make sure once you get organized, you stay that way. And then everything else just flows a lot easier after that.
I do have a question for either you or Sequoia. My phone's about to die soon, so I want to get this out real quickly. When you guys are designing your planners, right, and you're designing it for your business, do you also include your like your personal stuff? And when I say personal, I mean like laundry and stuff like that in your like business calendars as well?
I know for me, I have my personal planner where I would keep most of the specific things like the day to day laundry, hair appointments, doctor's visits, things like that. But I also do have like a wall calendar where I keep both things, both business and personal, so that nothing is clashing too much. Like I said, I like a constant reminder. So I have things in my phone, I have things written down, I also have things visually on my wall calendar.
Okay, okay. Because that was my next question. My next question is, which do you find to be most productive, using a pen and paper calendar or using your phone? Because I call myself using my phone for the sake of consistency because it's always with me. But then I'll end up having so much stuff, and when I look at it, it's kind of like junky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
I
then
tend to write stuff down just to organize my thoughts because you can get overwhelmed. Just pretty much what your was saying, just like getting everything out of your head. And I feel like once I organize it on paper, I'm like, okay, well, this really isn't necessary, or this can be condensed into this, or I've had this thought 3 times.
mm-hmm.
So it stops the repetition of things. And I find to put it down on paper first makes anything easier for me. coming up with a plan.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that Shakoya had also like talked about a brain dump. So kind of to piggyback off what you were saying, Megan, like to sit down and write down everything that is on your mind. I even find that that's helpful, like when, let's say you're going out with friends or, and I have anxiety really bad. So I go out with friends and I think of the 12 different things that I probably should be doing or didn't do or forgot or whatever. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, if I don't do it right now, I'm, I'm gonna forget. But if you just write it down, like in your, like, so on the iPhone, I mean, I don't, Android users, I'm sorry. But on the iPhone, you have a note section. There's a note section and you can write down your notes. I mean, you can always like text it to yourself. That's another thing that I do quite frequently. So I can go back to it. But those are just kind of to piggyback off what you were saying, Megan.
That's what's up. Okay, so those are two things that I do. I do use the notes in my phone. I'm challenged with this whole schedule thing and I want to be organized so bad.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I'm so bad at like keeping a planner and stuff like that. But I do see that when I do actually write it down onto something or set little reminders, it organizes my life. My mind just doesn't like to be organized apparently, because it's like, okay, yeah, this was great, so let me throw it over there real quick. And it's like, okay, please, well, now you're like you said, your mind is like a junk drawer, and then it's like, oh, this is my comfort zone type of deal. So it's kind of like repetition on using a certain things that you're not used to using until it actually fits. I guess I think that's where I'm gonna have to go, just force myself to use it until it's natural.
Yeah.
I
say like make small goals out of it. Don't I know a lot of people when they're trying to get organized, they look into a room or look in a closet, look in a drawer and like, you know what, that's just too much. Gonna put that back and then it never gets done. So I would just suggest making like small goals. Maybe just setting alarms for certain things. And if you see that that's working for you, then I would consistently add that into your routine until it becomes like second nature. Or if you see that your thought process is a lot better after just writing it all down and your thoughts are more focused, I would suggest trying that consistently versus like making yourself feel overwhelmed, like I have to get this right now.
Right. Exactly.
I know one thing that I picked up from Shahara is doing yourself a to-do list every day. So even though I have my planner and I'm looking at my planner, I still write down like 3 goals I want to accomplish that day. And I make sure I focus and laser my time in on those goals. Those are things I know I have to do. I need to do by the end of the day if I want to feel accomplished by the end of the week. But you have to really find what works out for you. Planners are not for everybody. I was lucky to find the planner that I have because it has such liberty to it. You can get it undated and do whatever you want to do with it. I go all the way crazy. I get markers, stickers, everything to do what I want to do in it. But like I said, I've had that planner since 2017, and this year has been my first year where I really started to push into the planner. So you got to figure out what works for you so that it can work for you. I wouldn't say planners work for everybody, but it may be a mixture. I use planners, I use the to-do list like Shahara does, and I also have little timers on my phone for certain things that I know I'm going to forget to take, like take my vitamins. So do stuff like that just to kind of keep me on the right path every day. But it takes time. Don't rush yourself. The one person you need to be forgiving with is yourself. So if you are going through a period where you're still trying to figure out what works for you, don't worry about it. Take your time to figure out what works for you. And when that time comes, it's gonna fit perfectly into your life.
One thing that I did read recently that really struck me was give myself grace. So we have to like be graceful with ourselves, even though we have X, Y, and Z happening. Like today was my time. Like I didn't want to do anything today. And I think that's okay. It's okay to just be like, you know what? I gave everybody my time Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And today it's all about me. What's one thing, if I'm saying your name right, Julissa, right?
Julie's, but it's okay.
What's one thing that you are like that you want to do, or that you're like, I don't know, for example, like cleaning out your closet? Is that something like on your list, or something that you have to do that you're not, that's like, like what's one of bothering you to be like, okay, I gotta get this done?
I would probably say the one thing that I know is laundry. Like I will literally be like, okay, I'm just gonna go buy new clothes. So I think that that's the one thing. I'm serious.
Yeah, you remind me of these college days.
I'm serious. I'm honest. Look, I know other people got flaws that's scarier than mine, but I will literally be like, you know what? Let's just bag it up and I'll just go get some new stuff. Like, and don't have money to do it, but do it anyway. Like, so I think that that's one thing that I could definitely schedule in and be like, write it down, hold yourself accountable, stop spending money on clothes for you.
Right. And I would say like what Meagan said, the alarm. So for me, it was, I have to make time to cook for myself, my family, my daughter. I have to make time to do that.
Yeah.
So those are like the three things that like ding on my phone all the time. Like, hey, you gotta do lunch, do dinner, do breakfast.
Girl, I see you. Laundry, it's time.
Right. So like right when you wake up, have your little cup of coffee, and like 9 a.m., 10 o'clock, ding, ding, ding. Hey, that laundry is waiting for you. And then right after laundry, you got to fold the clothes. And I'm bad. I will be completely honest. Laundry, I don't do laundry in this house. Robbie does laundry in this house. He's great at it. He's amazing at it. He'll see one load and be like, ooh, but if I show you this little pile right here, it is so not folded. I just, like I said, just be graceful with yourself.
That's my problem. That's why I don't like doing it. It's the folding. I wash it all day, you know, put the laundry detergent, all of that. It's the folding it afterwards that just, I'm just like, no.
But it's the habit, like Meagan was saying. Yeah. It's the habit that now I've noticed that like around 12 o'clock, I'm hungry. So it's like, I need the phone, but then I don't need the phone. Then I'm like, let's prepare dinner at 3. And then I'm like, do I need, like, I was already doing it today at 2:30, but that was because I was doing nothing else. When you have other things piled up, it does get complicated. But the passion planner, I like the time schedule. That's what works for me. I have to be like, this is my chunk to do this. This is my chunk to do that. And like Shakoya was saying, let's say you do, now what I've been doing is top 10 every day, and it's my top 10 goals on whatever I have to do. And what I do is I cluster them together, because some can come down and some you need one to fit the other to go with the other, right? So I cluster them, and that's those things that I know, oh, okay, I could do this, but then there's that one top goal. That top goal kind of does all the rest of them. So I think it's just like training yourself, being in that habit, but then also just giving yourself grace. Like when you don't do it, it's okay. You know, and not to say, you know, because tomorrow's not promised, but you know, okay, I didn't get that done. Don't be hard on yourself. Okay. You know, it will get done eventually.
Correct.
That was my little 2 cents.
When you said give yourself grace, I said, oh yeah, that's going on my vision wall. I need that. Give yourself grace.
I don't know so I read that book. I'm telling you, everybody should read this book. I love this woman, Gabby Bernstein. She's like amazing. And she said it in the book. She was just like, you know, we're always like, oh, we got to do this. Oh, we got to do that. Oh, we got to do this. And she was just like, you're basically telling the universe what to do. No, the universe is going to tell you when it's ready to do it. So it's kind of like, stop going against the grain, against like that magnet, and just letting it just naturally happen however it's supposed to happen. And sometimes we don't get further in our business because our house needs to get done first. You see what I'm saying? So if our house is complete or it's somewhat good, then we can move on to the business too. Or it could be reversed. Sometimes a business needs to do something, then the house does. Who knows?
Yes.
I know for me, I know it's like, all right, I got to get this house under control. If I get the house under control, everything else will go in, fall into place.
Yeah. Definitely like the brain junk drawer. It's like if my house is not together, my mind is always there. Well, I have to do this, and this is not right, and this and that. But I've learned that I function better having my closet a certain way, because then I'm not sitting there. Well, I know I had this green shirt, and now I'm just making a bigger mess. Then I'm gonna have to come back home and reorganize everything all over again.
So also too, not to cut you off, Megan, just like popped in my head. And yeah, like we were saying, if you don't write it down, it's gonna go out the window. But I was gonna say, see, I already that side note. So I'm like, oh, this is so good. This was so good. Oh man, it'll come back to me whenever. I mean, mom brain. Oh yeah, that was a good one. It just like flew out the window.
It's gone.
Wow. There it goes. See, like that, like just how that went. That's how you guys are. Oh, minimalist. I noticed that when I was carrying all this stuff, and you're talking about laundry, right? Sometimes we don't need all the clothes that we say we need. So if you're not wearing it, if you're not doing the laundry, if you didn't do that load, throw it away. Give it away.
Yeah.
Give it away. Don't throw it away. Give it away.
Give it away. Definitely give it away.
And that way, maybe now you have like a load of laundry every day. And now it becomes easier instead of like carrying all this stuff. I think that's just something that I just been working on. Like, you know what? I don't need to go buy that. I don't need it. It's just gonna sit in the junk drawer.
Exactly.
So there we go.
I think she was talking to everybody at that point. We all can relate.
Oh,
for real.
Yeah.
Listen, there's some gym clothes. I was like, yo, I don't even need. Okay, that's going to Goodwill. All right, I don't need that. Going to Goodwill, like, yeah. Releasing the baggage. Ooh, next one. Next, releasing the baggage. Now we're just going into like a whole therapy session.
Yeah, that was
someone write that down before we all forget.
Right.
Write it down.
Marilyn, are you going next? Are we gonna?
I am. I do want to touch on before you mute yourself, Shahira. Okay. My favorite point that you always make is that every month, right, especially as women, we have different times where we're productive. And I'm sure it's across the board. But ever since you've said it to me, right, ever since we've had this conversation, it's like, it's so apparent to me because some weeks, like, you know, you can have, it's kind of like how Tanae was saying on her calendar, you have all of this stuff, like all of these tasks that you need to do every single day, right? And you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get that done. But it's like that 1 week, right? Maybe two, you know, don't judge me, but maybe two.
I'll tell you when
but it's that 1 week where you're just not productive at all. But you have that week where you can do everything. Like, I am superwoman. Let me tell you, I can get everything done for the business that I haven't gotten done all month. But somehow that 1 week, forget it. I mean, I found every reason not to do anything, like anything. When you ask me, like, what did you get accomplished at the end of the day? I mean, my emails have been read. They've been read. I don't know if I replied to them, but I definitely read them. You know what I mean? And that's how it is though. And Shahara, I'll let you kind of take the reins on that, but it's that production throughout the month is not always going to be the same, and it's okay.
So as I can see that we have a lot of women here, and I need you guys all to write this down. So we have the passion. There's a lot of planners, right? So we have the passion planners. I would say that would be your functional planner, functional person. So if you are more of a logical, functional person, that would probably be your route. Now, what Marilyn's talking about is another book that I read, and that's by Kate Northrup, right? She made the Do Less, and now she actually has the Do Less Planner. And the Do Less Planner is basically, she found that when she hit that 6-7 figures, now over above that, she found that we were working on a man scale instead of a woman scale. Us women, we have our menstrual, every 28 days. What comes around every 28 days? The full moon, the new moon. Us women, we work on the new moon. If you believe it or if you don't, but that's what we generate. That's how we work. And that's why sometimes we're kind of off a little bit when we're trying to fit ourselves in a man scale world. So she came up with the planner, and when Shakoya was like, "Oh, the passion," I was like, "You know what? Let me get both, because if I get both, I could see where I can get things done using both planners." So the Do Less Planner, she shows you how to be more productive during those times. So basically she says, like, the first week that you're on your menstrual, that you're actually on it, you actually do, I forget what it is. I wrote a whole bunch of notes, but you actually really, like, you do stuff, but you're not supposed to like complete anything. So that's supposed to be like where you're kind of brainstorming, you're putting things, like, you're brain dumping at that point. That second week when you're off of it, that's your go time. That's when you're supposed to be like social and like out there, which we can't really, but Zoom might be it for us right now. So that's when we're like, yes, let's go on Zoom. Let's meet some people. Let's start advertising. The third week is when we start getting tired. So depending on how your menstrual is, it's always like that third week is like that. I don't feel like doing nothing. But that fourth week before you get your menstrual back, they say that you're actually supposed to be completing everything. So between that, after we have our period, those 2 weeks, that's our most generated, I would say, time. And that's why we have, as women, like that time where we don't want to do anything. We're just like, I'm done. Or we just might just be tired too. Cause I feel like right now it's just, I haven't physically worked 3 days straight doing back-to-back clients and back-to-back weddings in so long, since like last year. So today I was just physically, my body, I was like, I'm tired. Now tomorrow it's like, I'm going. Cause I literally just, not to TMI or anything, I just got off of mine. So I was just like, oh, okay. I know that this is like my, let's go, let's start what I need to start. But yeah, she explains it in her book. So like, if you guys have Audible, if you guys want to buy the book, yeah, it's Do Less. She also explains how that helped her, and then also when she started her first business, what 10 steps really worked for her. And then when she created the Do Less, and then she has like another kind of organizational thing that she does, but how to skip those 10 processes, and if she needs to only do 5, then she'll do those 5. It's really cool. She's really, really cool lady. And that was like in the middle of like last year. But yeah, I think those 2 planners, honestly, either or can really help everybody. And then, like Megan said, the phone. Listen, the phone still works for me. I need it I have a planner in this living room, like that wall calendar. I need things, like she said, in our face. Maybe it's our sign, Megan. I always say that. I'm like, I need stuff that's like, here, you have to do this right now. but I'm also unmotivated and lazy. So
Exactly.
it's just, I don't know. And I'm just going to be like, that's just who I am. But when I get stuff done, it's like I want a whole day to get it done. I think that's where I feel like my problem is. It's like, I don't want to do little chunks for the whole week. In my head, I'm like, I can get this done in like 5 hours. Can I just have like 5 hours to just sit down and just knock it out? All right. And then but I don't have that. So I have to do it in little chunks. But yeah. But that explains, I'm glad that resonated with you, Marilyn. Like,
I mean, and it does. And you know what? So I did the Adobe Max conference this past week, which was super dope, by the way. And I learned a lot, like a lot of really good information. I had got to a point where I just felt like I hadn't been learning. I had been putting so much into the business and I just hadn't read a book. And it really bothered me. I hadn't picked up that time to learn. So I went to the Adobe Max conference, and one thing that one of the guys said was that most people, right, don't even get that 3 to 4 hours of work done a day. So if you are one of those people who can get 3 to 4 hours of work done per day, you're ahead of the game. He was saying that if you get the 3 to 4 hours a week done, like productive, we're talking about sitting down, productive hours that you're getting done, like that's a really, really good thing. So that was something that resonated with me. I had actually talked to a friend of mine who she is not a business owner. She works for a company, and she was just like, man, I just feel like she's a contractor and now she's working from home. She's like, I just feel like I only get 2 to 3 hours of like really productive work done a day. She's like, and I just feel like that can't be normal. Like it can't be a normal thing for me to only really get 2 to 3 hours of work done. But as I kept doing my research, it is pretty common for people to only get those 3 to 4 hours of work done per day, as long as that's your productive time. Where there is times where you're working, but you're not fully in it and productive. And the thing is the way that he explained it was that when you are working, it has to be that uninterrupted time, especially if you have more of a creative mind. So, and that kind of brings me into a point that Shahara and I were talking about last week, is that you have to know when your time is to be your most creative self. When is your time that you can get the most work done? And I know that at one point in my life, I was a morning person, and then I became a mom, and that went out the window, right? My mornings are for my daughter. They're not for anybody else. They're for my daughter. And it doesn't matter if I start work 7, 8 o'clock, especially working from home. She's gonna ask me 500 questions in between because she's virtually learning right now. But I can tell you that I probably did get a lot of productive work done when she wasn't virtually learning and I was working from home. But the time that I found that I got that productive work done was when I went to like Starbucks and I sat down next to all these people next to me who were working on something. And I felt like, okay, I got to look like I'm productive too. And that's what motivated me. But you got to know yourself, right? So I knew that about myself. If I see all these people looking at me and I'm just sitting here, like, and I came to the coffee shop to get some work done, that's what motivated me. So that's what I did. Now, life shifted, right? So my most productive time is 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get a lot of things done at 2 o'clock in the morning. Between 10 and 2, I get a lot done. And that works for me. But like, for example, Shahara is a morning person. If we were to have her try to work from 10 and 2, you would not want to meet her in the morning. Like you wouldn't want to even talk to her during that time period because she would not be friendly. So, but it's knowing when you should have that time. So just because, and I make this point to say that just because just because Shahara wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get stuff done, that doesn't mean that I should wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get things done. That doesn't mean that because I'm not going to be productive at that time.
Right.
So you have to kind of learn those things about yourself and about your schedule and what works for you, right? There's going to be a lot of things you'll see on social media, a lot of books that you'll read, but you have to always take that with a grain of salt as to how to apply it to your own life and what works for you. And I know that we had Meagan come and speak, we had Shakoya come and speak, and we have Shahara. And just because those, like they said, just because those things work for them doesn't always mean that those are going to be the best techniques for yourself. So you take what you can and you apply it to your everyday, right? And what works for your everyday. Now what I will say is a brain dump, making checklists, I feel like that should work across the board. We're all different, so how you approach it is going to be your own take and your own spin on it. But take that time to sit down and write down the things that you need to do, right? Don't put any pressure on yourself at first as to when it needs to be done. Just write it down. Like if you can start there, then you can get so much further than you ever anticipated. So start with writing it down. Start with that brain dump. Start with getting out whatever it is on your mind that you think you need to get done. Because I have anxiety, I think of things all the time. So I write things down regularly. I probably come up with some of like the best copywriting or content ideas at the most random times. But that doesn't mean like I sometimes it flusters me though, because I'm like, oh, well, I don't have time to do it. But if I just write it down, then I know, okay, I've written it down. I can go back to it tomorrow when I have time to get that done. But at least I've taken the idea, written it down, and I'm not trying tomorrow to remember this brilliant idea that I had at 4 a.m. You know what I mean? Um, those are the ways that I've learned how to cope with differently being productive, right? We are in a different time. We are in a households probably with more people than we anticipated throughout the day on a regular basis. And that's okay. But it's figuring out how to maneuver it and how to stay productive and stay accomplishing things. We all have had to find new ways to be more creative, whether that's with your space physically or with how you work, how you communicate with your customers, how you handle creating new segments of your business. And so it's finding that balance, really. And so if we take those things and we write them down, we use like Google Calendars and we put inside of the calendar, okay, well, here's a suggested task. So I'm one of those people personally where you cannot tell me to do something because I'm going to rebel. If you tell me to do something, like I have to get it done, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to make sure that I do that 3 days from today because you wanted it done today. That's just who I am as a person. So if I put suggestive tasks in my Google Calendar, then I can choose if that's what I want to do in that moment. So for somebody with my type of personality, I could put, well, I'm going to either read emails or I'm going to put together an email campaign. Those are my choices. But at least I have a choice as to what I'm going to do. These are things that I can productively get done in this period of time. Maybe I don't want to do A, but I can do B. I can knock B out. You know what I mean? It's about how you think about it, how you figure out who you are as a person and how that works for you. The other thing, I just lost my train of thought. Here you go. I don't want to, I know it's 7 o'clock, so I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. But I do want to say that there was a couple tips I wanted to give you guys as far as business goes. And one of those things is as business owners, it's really hard to manage your social media. Maybe it isn't, but I know a lot of people it is. It can be overwhelming to a point where if you're trying to manage all of your different social media platforms and you're trying to stay consistent, because consistency is key with social media. It's key to making sure that you connect with your audience. They know that you're there. You're staying on top of the algorithms and all of that. It's important, right? but it can be overwhelming. And when you're trying to run a business and run social media, if it's just you, that can be a whole lot, because you're trying to push out all of this content, but you're also trying to find better ways to run your business or run your business. And so there's social media like schedulers that you can use. I know we have one with Madly Creative. There's a couple other like Later, Buffer, and there's several out there. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. Most of them will be paid if you want to use it for all platforms. But I just say take some time to look into that, because it can be a small fee to lift that heavy burden off of you, where you can plan out your content calendar for a month or 2 months. Somebody just said they use Hootsuite. That's a good one as well. So that's something that I would use to kind of lift any kind of heavy lifting that you have. Take a couple days out of your schedule and just put that content together, and then you're good for the month, right? If you just take a couple days or even a week to put the whole month together, that takes away from everything else that you'll have to do. Most big businesses plan like they plan at least 2 quarters ahead, if not just a quarter, just depending. There are some companies, they plan their content out a year in advance. And we're talking about bigger companies, but this is just a way to help lift that up off of you so that you don't have that on you every single day. You can take that time that you would have stepped into it and just be productive in your creativity on the things that you need to be productive on. The other thing that Shahara made a really big point about last time we spoke was that sometimes you need to just put your phone down. And that is a really important point. That was something we talked about in Adobe Max, was that you have to have that uninterrupted time, because what will happen is you'll get sidetracked, and it takes so long for you to get back to where you were creatively in that moment, to get all of those things done. And even if you're not a creative mind and you're a logical thinker, it still takes time to get back into that production where you're flowing. Like if you're doing spreadsheets, it's still going to take that time to get back to where you were and you were just moving and grooving. You know, as soon as you get taken out of that, it takes a minute to get back. So just remember that. Put your phone on silent. Have those times where you have the do not disturb on, where it's just about you and the things that you need to get done. And that's really important, because you'll get so much more done in that time frame. I will say that Google has the reminders. Like I was saying, you can go in there and you can create a task. Those are things that you can do. Your reminders in your iPhone as well as your are another thing. So you can put like a quick reminder in there just to say, hey. You can always set an alarm too. That's another way to be like, hey, you know, and I know those are phone things, so that has to be if you're comfortable with working on the phone. The other thing is if you just get actual visual calendar to put in front of you. I write things on my mirror to remind me of certain things I need to get done. I actually literally will write on my bathroom mirror a checklist of my personal items that I need to get completed. Whether that works for you or not, that's just an idea. That means literally every time I go to the bathroom, I know that those are the daunting things that I need to get completed. As a visual person, that's something that helps me as well. But
that was
yeah,
good. I need to use that.
Yeah, I also do my words of affirmation on my mirror too. But I will go back to the fact before we end and close, is that be patient with yourself. Like Shahara said, give yourself grace. Nobody's perfect. You're gonna have days where it's just you can't do it, you know, and that's okay. The other thing is make sure that you have time for self-care. If you don't take care of yourself, then how is the business going to keep running? How is your family going to take care of itself? Make sure that you take care of those things. It's really important. So I will go ahead and close with that. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and feel free to ask them. I just want to make sure that I'm being cautious of everybody's time.
No questions, but thank you. This was good.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome Monday night. And we will add a few things to the group, but I hope that you guys have a great night.